What's up, everybody, and welcome back to the Sword of Truth podcast, the alcohol-fueled, chapter-by-chapter reread of the Sword of Truth series with a bell full of spirits on the side. I just about said craft brew, and there's no craft brew on this episode. Oh. So I'm not used to, I wasn't used to it. I wasn't ready. I read it twice.
You made it through.
Okay.
It's okay.
I did. I'm Nate.
And I'm Jade, and on this episode, we are drumming up Chapter 5 of Blood of the Fold.
That's right, we are. I like this chapter for a couple of reasons. One of them, though, being the drumming. It's insanity.
I was going to say, you like that?
I don't know. I don't... I like drumming. I'm just not a big fan of, like, psychological torture. That's all.
I like drums and cars and... Okay, I got you.
What do you like? I like drums. What do you like to do? I like hitting my drums.
But yeah, I like this chapter too. There's a couple characters that we haven't seen for a long time, and I really dig them.
All right, well, let's get drumming. We travel back to the old world in this chapter, and we rejoin the sisters who are left at the Palace of the Prophets. All of the sisters and boys are standing around a giant fire, except one of each to watch the palace. It's kind of like symbolic. Like
Yeah.
They're really not going to defend it, but, you know.
Yeah, they have the guards there, so it's not, I mean, they don't really need them there. There's not really a threat. Well, I mean, there was, but yeah, they just have to keep one of each there.
And then there's one crazy sister who's been locked in a room, right?
Yeah, she's gone crazy, it seems like, in the recent... Like, it seems like this is a recent development, and they've kept her in a guarded room now.
It was for her own good.
Yes. I put it in the notes because I was like, I don't remember what the fuck... who's the crazy person? Do we know her? I'm intrigued.
They had spent the night using their shields to protect the bodies of Anne and Nathan. And at first light, they had pulled the shield back and sent their hands into the pyre, starting the blaze. They're like, Anne and Nathan are both dead, which, was a surprise, right?
At least half of that was a surprise to me.
Right, because we knew that Anne was not in a good way when we left her.
Right.
Nathan was taking care of her. And Nathan was fine.
Yeah.
He was just helping to heal Anne. So, like, what?
Yeah, I mean, I think we know it takes it out of you to heal somebody. But, I mean, I definitely didn't expect him to die. Richard didn't. He was just thinking about him like 2 days ago where he was like, Nathan can come help me. So Richard obviously didn't think it was going to be beyond Nathan's ability to, like, stay alive at the very least.
Right. Well, I mean, he's just healing somebody. Like,
Yeah.
he's okay. It shouldn't have happened. Like, there's weirdness. There's weirdness around Nathan's death.
They accepted it and they have magic, so they must know for sure.
I still don't like it. Like,
No, I don't either. He is the second best Nathan after all.
This is true. So this pyre, this is an ancient rite that's performed when only the prelate dies. It's like a really big deal. It's kind of like, okay, maybe it's a little bit like the Pope. It's the Pope, but like they live for hundreds and hundreds of years. So it's been a long ass time since this has happened.
Yeah.
791 years to be exact. That was, I don't know, that was just a fun little detail.
Yeah.
I sound like a soccer mom, but like, yeah. I thought that was funny. But yeah, I thought that was funny that Terry was like, actually, it's been exactly this long. We're dealing with everything hundreds of years ago, and here's one super specific number.
But does that mean that, and I guess it would, that Anne held that position for that many years?
Yeah. Yeah, because that would be the last time that a prelate had died. And Anne is old, right?
Yeah, like, I guess.
Everybody's kind of old there to our standard, but yeah, I think so.
Yeah, well, okay. Well, that just gives you a scope of where she's at. She's like almost to a century old. She's getting up there.
She's getting up there. I'm only 850, son. Calm down.
But nobody alive in the palace has done this shit before, so they had to, like, researched the old books, and Warren had to help
Yeah.
with it a lot, actually, because that's, like, his domain down there, to figure out how to do it in the first place.
Yeah, he's the book guy. He's supposed to know. We actually talked a little bit about this earlier in the week, how, like, we have documents from the creation of the country, and those are a couple 300 years old in most cases, and there's widespread debate on what a lot of it means. And then these are like thousands of years old, and people are doing these super complicated magic spells that if it goes wrong, everybody dies, or, you know, like...
Or their soul won't be released in the right way or some shit.
It must have literally every single detail imaginable.
Yeah. Well, and a lot of it is probably not even written in a language that a lot of people understand.
Oh, right, yeah. If you don't speak the language, forget it. But normally only the prelate gets to have her soul released to the creator, right? Normally. But in this case, they decided that Nathan deserved it as well. I mean, he fought so hard to save her. He should. He should.
Yeah.
In a lot of ways, it said, like, they're the mother and the father of the palace. So this is a really big deal that both of them had died.
I guess he doesn't come out and say it, but he's, like, the other oldest person there, it seems like.
Yeah, and I thought, like, his importance was because they're at the Palace of the Prophets. He's the prophet.
Yeah.
He's the one driving the ship, so to speak. So, driving the ship, steering the ship.
Well, from inside his apartment that he can't leave.
Right, exactly. The irony. Apparently, like, after 3 weeks of him trying to save Anne, they both passed away. So yeah, it's kind of like what you were saying. He tried so hard to save her that he literally gave every bit of himself, which extinguished the spark of life. Is that what's going on?
Yeah, I think he put so much of his life force,
like himself, into it.
Yeah.
He couldn't sustain.
Yes.
He crossed streams, is what happened.
And then she did too. Yeah.
That's a Ghostbuster reference.
Oh.
We'll have to watch that one.
Oh, okay.
It was a bad one. It wasn't really parallel. Anyways. So Verna never really got to make peace with Anne, and now that she's gone, she's struggling with it. She thinks about, like, all the shit that Anne put her through, and a couple choice words she might want to say to her, and now she'll never get the chance. And that really sucks. I've been in that situation, so I understand.
I think Verna's ultimate goal would be to have Anne, like, give her back something to make her have some closure with it, like, say or do something, but she'll never get that chance now. Like, I think she wanted to be able to get her shit out on the table and be like, fuck you for this and this and this and this.
Yeah.
Now make me feel better. Not that, like, she would have demanded that, but, like, I think that's what a lot of people want.
But that's kind of what, I mean, yeah, a little bit. And anything, it could be for any situation. You just have to get anything off your chest, and now you'll never be able to do that.
Yeah.
So you can, like, type an email or write a letter and then burn it or do some shit like that, but it's never going to be the same as saying it to the person you wanted to say it to.
And hearing their reaction.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Anyways, yes, I understand you, Verna. She does think about Richard. She misses Richard. And she hopes that Kaylin didn't die. Hey, and there's a little side thing, too. Oh, yeah. Hope the lady's okay. And she also hopes that Anne's plans really were for the good of everyone and not just, like, her own ambitions. Because, like we were saying, Verna's kind of pissed off at Anne.
Yeah, she put her and a lot of other people through a lot of shit to engineer a certain outcome.
Yeah, that they don't, like, nobody knows if it's gonna happen or not.
Yeah.
So,
or if it was the right one.
For one.
Yeah.
And now we're aware, so that just makes all those people mad, or at least Verna mad. Verna's the spark.
The Spitfire?
Yeah.
I don't know, is that what you're like?
Flame's gotta come from somewhere, baby. So Warren notices that she seems pissed off, 'cause she is, but she says that she's just mad at herself. And as they're talking, she looks over at him and she's like, damn, I forgot that you're not wearing your collar anymore. This is purely for the reader, I feel like.
Yeah, to let them know Warren's different, if you didn't read the last book.
He has leveled up. He is now collar-free. It's the way to be.
But he's not a fully trained, learned wizard. Like, just to put him in his place.
Right. Well, like, he had passed the test of pain. That's the reason that the collar was on there. Once you pass that, you don't need the collar on anymore, and he's done that. So he's still learning how to, like, wizard, but he's not, like, that part's done.
Yeah.
He's a good dude. He can be a wizard.
He can make the right choices when they need to be made. That's the ultimate thing, I think.
And he's like, young bitch, I'm 157. That was on for a long-ass time. I'm an old man. I mean, everybody lives for 900 years here or whatever, but still.
When he said it, it just made me think about the fact that, like, they've had those on for a long fucking time. I don't know if we've touched on this before, but I know, like, if a dog wears a chain around their neck for a certain amount of time, like, it'll wear at their skin, they'll get, like,
the metal, yeah.
Yeah, it'll get, like, a scar, it can get chafed, like, all sorts of fucking problems. These guys wore these from the time, again, I don't know if they fucking changed size, I don't know how thick they were, because they put them on at 10, and they wore them, 140 years for Warren, and that's a short amount of fucking time. They were sleeping in those things.
They have to be smaller profile than what I imagine, because for whatever reason, and this is just the worst, but do you remember the movie Wild Wild West?
Vaguely.
So they get kicked out of the train, and the bad guy, right, hooks them up with these super strong magnets, and then basically fires a saw blade through this cornfield and runs them down with the blade. Anyways, the collars they're wearing are very large, and
like
they
horse collars?
and they like cone out almost like a dog collar does.
Okay.
But up and down, and like they're giant.
Yeah.
But it's meant for a saw blade to like connect with and then pass through.
Yeah.
But that's what I picture a Radahan like, and I'm like, I know that's not right. Because of this, they're wearing them for like hundreds of years. It's got to be much, much smaller than I'm picturing.
Yeah, it can't be heavy or bulky in any way, because how the fuck would you sleep with it? How would you not get headaches and, like, neck aches and back pain?
Kind of like the Radahan was. Like, it's easy to picture that bigger than it is, but it's just a small...
You just said the Radahan. Did you mean
the Radahan, the Aegil, damn it!
Wow.
Yes, just like that thing.
Yeah.
The Aegil. It's smaller than you want to picture it.
Like,
so it's gotta be.
Maybe more like an actual dog collar, like thin and on the skin.
I'm almost thinking just like small, like just a ring of steel.
I'm just saying it had to have been collar-like in some way, because
tight, yeah.
Well, because it had the appearance of a collar as soon as he saw it. Like, everybody's like, I'm wearing a collar around my neck.
Well, yeah,
you know?
I think it's not a necklace. It's not, like, loose.
Right.
It's definitely a strap of some kind.
But yeah, so I don't know. I was just thinking, even the thinnest piece of metal worn for that much time is going to do some permanent damage to your fucking neck. I guess magic maybe would have... I don't know.
Floats.
Yeah, but still... That's all. I thought about it, and I was like, yeah, I'm glad he got that shit off his neck. Good for him.
Well, it better be pure steel, too. Otherwise, that shit is definitely leaving a stain.
Also, it's sending magic through your body, so I would feel like even though it's not electricity, I feel like you would get, like, electricity burns through it. Or some,
microwaves?
Yeah.
Oh, gosh. So they acknowledge that Richard must have saved the world from the Keeper, otherwise they'd all be dead. Right, we're still here, so he must have done something right over there.
Yeah, Warren was like, the winter solstice, I was up all fucking night.
I did not fucking sleep that night.
I bet you he drank a lot.
You would have to.
Yeah, if I was up all night and I was like, oh, the world might end tonight. If I'm not getting any, I'm getting drunk. That's the way it is.
That's fair. That's fair.
And his girl died, so we know that wasn't happening for him.
So he's not getting any, that's for sure. So Verna is glad that Warren is sticking around, especially since they don't have a prophet anymore. Like, hey, this horrible, awful thing just happened, and I know you're still really upset. A lot of us are. Please don't go. We need you. Right? Was that too forward of her to be like, hey,